Hamilton, and there is still so much on the line. First up in the East, the Tiger Cats hoping to lock up the division against the last place Red Blacks, who hope to end their season on a high. It is Ottawa and Hamilton in Game 1 of our Friday night doubleheader.
Anytime's great for football, but I know when it feels just right.
I'm gonna kick back, relax.
Watching football on a Friday night.
It's Friday!
And we're gonna be hard to tame.
Eat 'em raw! It's Friday!
Coast to coast.
The CFL is Canada's game. We're all kicked up to booty! And we ready for a fight. Kick back, relax.
Watching Friday night football.
The boys are all back.
Playing CFL football. The game is up for grabs.
It's Friday night football tonight.
Just 2 TD passes to set a new career high. He leads the CFL with 5,032 passing yards and 34 TD passes. Meanwhile, the Red Blacks still trying to get a good read on Tyree Adams. He was 27 of 44, 286, 3 TDs, 3 INTs, and last week's loss to Montreal. Can you believe it is the final weekend of the regular season? Hi, everyone. Cameron S. alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall. It's the biggest show in sports tonight. This is it.
Everyone's
right
watching,
here.
baby.
Everyone is watching this show.
Everyone wants to be.
Don't lie to us at home. You know you want to be here tonight. All right, for these Hamilton Tiger Cats, look, I'm going to sell it to you no matter what here. For these Hamilton Tiger Cats, I mean, they win, they take care of business, they lock up the East, but how important is it for them not to get too far behind in this game and make sure they come out absolutely flying?
Absolutely. This Ottawa Red Blacks team is a team that wants to win. They want to find a way to get a W, and they want to prove certain guys that they belong in this league, and this might be their last chance. So they're going to give it everything they got, but these Hamilton Tiger Cats have to come out and leave no doubt that the Ottawa Red Blacks are indeed not a playoff team. So they cannot take it slow. They got to start fast and finish the game off.
Yeah, I'm with you. The first 10 minutes are important for Hamilton. Come out there, try to stomp on them, take away their will, because if Ottawa's will is broken early, they're not going to want to play.
Yeah, these Ottawa Red Blacks, they may want to win, but I've been in this position before. I don't know if you guys do, but I'm here teammates would say, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to have to stay here in the offseason. So if Hamilton comes out and just stomps on them right away, those guys will say, you got it, baby.
Nice.
I just want to get out of here. I just want to go home.
Bags are packed
window or aisle. I just want to make it home safely because I don't want to be in Ottawa in the offseason.
Two things you want to accomplish in the season. You want to win a championship, and the second thing is you want to get through the season healthy.
You want to be healthy?
By the way, Milt, you just posed that question. Davis literally was shaking his head, and I don't know if you've been in this position. Davis
I made the playoffs every year.
That's crazy. I got to fact check that one, David.
Julian Hauser in Hamilton looking to win the East Division for the first time since 2019. Kickoff coming up next. Ladysmith, BC, this is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Karen. Let's get you to Hamilton. It's Marshall Ferguson and Paul LaPolice.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome to the Hammer on a night where the Jays down the road 1-0. It's all up for grabs in the East as Hamilton looks to lock down top spot in the division for the first time since 2019 against the REDBLACKS, who would love to play spoiler. Welcome, everyone. Marshall Ferguson, Paul Lapalese, Kenzie Lalonde here with us as well. In week 21, how'd we get here, Lapu?
How about that?
All of a sudden, the season's wrapping up. We're heading towards the playoffs. But tonight, it's all about Bo Levi Mitchell and his 34 passing touchdowns, 3 better than any other quarterback in the CFL at this point, being able to piece together and have another wonderful night to get first in the division.
Interesting thing for Bo Levi Mitchell, last place last year as the starting quarterback for this team. With a win tonight, he can put them into first place. Hasn't happened often. Last to first. Tyree Adam making his 3rd career start. 3 TDs last week, 3 interceptions. Says his eyes got better as the game went on. We'll keep an eye on his progression in this next game.
Bob Dice entrusting his offense to Tyree Adams as Drew Brown off the roster here this week. Was listed as the 3rd stringer, but wasn't going to play regardless last week. Dustin Crum back on the roster, and Scott Milanovich asked him what he loved the most this week about his team going into the playoffs, and he kind of paused and said, I genuinely think, whether it's unrealistic or not, they believe they can beat anybody at any time. It doesn't matter if they're down, home, away, Grey Cup, preseason. They'll try to find a way as we get things started here in week number 21 to wind things down on the 2025 CFL regular season. The return from Isaiah Wooden out to the 43-yard line, and out comes Bo Levi Mitchell. 109 career wins, 7th all-time in CFL history.
Well, you just said it. This team believes they can win every game. Late in the game, it's because you're a Hall of Fame quarterback. Bo Levi Mitchell brings that aura to him. You talk to the players, they say in meetings he's always on task. He knows what to do offensively. It looks different when he's out there. He gives us an opportunity each week to win no matter what happens in the course of the game. His confidence is what brings this team together and fired up.
Mitchell looks to his left to begin, gets an easy completion out into the flats. It's Greg Bell as he's part of this Hamilton Tiger Cats starting offense.
10-year veteran Brendan Revenberg, the most outstanding offensive lineman for this Ticats team. We had a great talk with him this week. He loves being in this place. Kenny Lawler with 1 TD tonight. He will tie Ticats TD reception record set by Tony Champion back in 1989.
I love the conversation with Rev where I said, can you imagine what it looks like to win a Grey Cup in Hamilton? And he just started laughing and said, chaos. The whole thing would be chaos, but chaos that he dearly wants, just like Bo, who's incomplete here on 2nd and 6. It's knocked away. Nice play coming down. Looks like DeAndre Lamont was right there on the spot. And Mitchell told us this week as well that this Ottawa defense on film not quitting in the slightest down the stretch.
Really good by Lamont coming down from his deep area of the field at free safety. As Bogus has to take a check down. He's done that so well. Big Robinson right there, but Lamont gets his hand in there to knock that down. Really good play from the free safety.
Nick Constantino ready to send this one away. As the Hamilton special team strong throughout the year, a spiraling boot here on a cool night drops down on the sideline to Devontae Deadman as Tyree Adams hits the turf for the first time. 2nd career CFL start last week against the Montreal Alouettes at a loss, but he played very well trying to bring them back into the ballgame.
I asked him this week, what were some of the things that's got to happen for you offensively this week? You know, he talked about, I think I'm going to have a little bit more offensive play calls that allow me to kind of read coverage on one side of the field and go in another direction, more so than the true progressions where you just read one side of the field and progress across. It's going to have a little bit more options, a little bit more deep ball opportunities.
Begins with a fake pitch here. They go called quarterback run inside. And the left side of that offensive line includes Drew Desjardins back in the starting lineup. Here is the starting REDBLACKS offense looks like this.
Dino Boyd is the most outstanding offensive lineman nominee for this football team. He's had a really good year. And Justin Hardy, we expect tonight to get 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his career.
He better.
He better. He's only got 32 yards to go. Let's get it.
Before the Montreal game for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, they were in tough with Hardy getting very few looks. Gino Lewis only having 10 yards receiving as well. So never say never, but yeah, it certainly should be in the cards tonight for Hardy as Adams rolls to the right and dumps this one off, looking for William Stanback, incomplete. So back-to-back 2-and-outs to begin here on Friday Night Football of Week 21.
Tyree, as he scrambles a little bit, feels the pressure from the right-hand side as he scrambles, gets out. sometimes better to use your legs. It's going to be hard to loft that ball over the top to stand back. Just kind of make the defender avoid as he jumps, maybe get the first down there.
Richard Leone ready to send this one away. As a single returner stands back. And it is Wooden. Catching it at his own 44-yard line and breaking across the 55 before being tackled on cue as Bo Levi Mitchell already across 5,000 passing yards here in 2025. Fourth time in his career he's done it. He's done it in consecutive season as well. Just the 7th CFL quarterback to do it. Bo Levi Mitchell has been tremendous in 2025. Arguably could have won the MOP last season. He is the team nominee, coming in here once again in 2025 as the most outstanding player. But already Lapo getting close to that career high when it comes to single season touchdowns. He's got 34 coming in and crossing the 5K mark entering week 21.
And the best thing he's done this season is drop the interceptions dramatically and put them in position, win games when they win the turnover margin, on top of the touchdowns.
Great starting field position here for Hamilton, who gets the running game going as Greg Bell turns his legs and gets close to the first down marker here. We'll see where they spotted that Anti-Litre in the game as the fullback, trying to help him back to his feet after this rush.
Good shoulder square by Greg Bell. Good push at the front side. You can see Jordan Murray pushing the defensive line, getting good opportunities for Greg Bell. Really talented season for him. 3rd in the CFL in yardage.
2nd and 1, and Jacob Legala plunges his way across the first down marker as we look at the Ottawa REDBLACKS starting defense. Again, getting credit from Bo Levi Mitchell this week, giving plenty of effort down the stretch.
Cleon Lang returns after missing the last 6 games. The 11-year vet's trying to prove I still got a lot to do in playing this. Most outstanding defensive player for the REDBLACKS, Jovan Santos Knox, one of the reasons we're one of the best in the league against the run, and CJ Colden leads this team. He's 3rd on the team in defensive tackles, which is an amazing stat for a corner. Leads also the team in interceptions with 3.
Kenny Lawler waggles down as they hand it off inside. Greg Bell gets another touch. Cleon Lang, you mentioned that starting lineup here, Lapo. He's almost fallen into the spot that Ted Laurent used to be in here in Hamilton of every year you're going, well, he's got to age out, right?
Yeah,
like they're not going to keep bringing him back, but he just keeps being productive when he's healthy. The problem this year has been he's been replaced through injury, and that's always the danger as a veteran player.
And, such an important place to the locker room. I was fortunate to work with him for a year, and just outstanding leader in the room. Players respect him. He works hard every day.
Bo gets this one out quick, and he's complete. DeAndre Smith gets his first grab of the ball game before sliding his way down to the turf, and DeAndre gets his 79th cash on his 108th target of the season.
Figure out zones. You're going to have an out-breaking route and a second out-breaking route and a vertical. You're going to have 2 outs and a go. And what you do is you see where's the softness of the defense. It's on DeAndre Smith. As the corner lifts, as Cam Lockridge lifts, Bo recognizes immediately, throws the ball outside to Keandre. And the chain. As usual, the chain is always part of Keandre's uniform.
Distinguishing factor in his game day fit. As downhill, Brendan Revenberg, again the most outstanding offensive lineman nominee for these Hamilton Tiger Cats, trying to move the left side of that offensive line, and Greg Bell goes for a rush of 5 on first.
And really good on the inside. This is just going to be a tight zone play. And you can see really good by Colter Woodmansey creating that opportunity for the run on the inside. You're just moving the launch point, getting an opportunity to bounce it back up inside.
2nd and 5 here for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, trying to lock down first place in the East Division this evening. And Bo, touchdown! Tim White into the end zone. Got nicked as he was throwing, but Bo Levi Mitchell on point as he has his 35th touchdown pass of the season. And for Tim White, he's got half a dozen, 6.
Tim White with the post in the middle of the field. Bo throws right into the pressure. Too much expanded zone. Santos Knox can't get there. Tim White finds the end zone. Great location by Bo Levi Mitchell, hitting him into the zone blitz.
Bo Levi Mitchell on point, looking relaxed as ever. And we heard from Scott Milanovich this week, he wasn't sure coming off the bye after a difficult loss against the Calgary Stampeders exactly what kind of week in practice he was going to get. He said it was excellent, dialed in, felt like the playoffs, and they begin like a playoff game execution with Tim White into the end zone.
Six-play, 53-yard drive, 3 minutes off the clock. Greg Bell with 3 carries in this, mixing in the run game. Couple of passes on the outside, Keandre Smith. Greg Bell, a little bit more Greg Bell on the inside. And then the throw to Tim White into the blitz for the touchdown. Nice touchdown for Bo in that. You can see Tim White there with his 6th touchdown of the season.
You know what I love about that Bo Levi Mitchell reaction? He's just like, boom, that's one, thank you, back to the sideline. Like, it was very, very locked in, just like they said practice was this week. Very businesslike on that drive after having the tune out to begin things. Now we get a return, a little Pimpleton going around to the left-hand side and pushed in the bounce by Ronan Horo in the lineup here this week as we get a look at Tyree Adams in his game against the Montreal Alouettes. Said it wasn't up to his standard. He was disappointed in himself, but he knows that he has to be a little bit gentle coming off of a major knee injury, getting back to what he wants to do.
Yeah, he missed a couple of throws. A couple times they 2-and-outed because he, didn't locate the ball very well. But I think later in the game he started to get in rhythm. Had a nice corner route for a touchdown. We just saw to Geno Lewis. He put the ball downfield. Couple interception. One interception was a tip ball. So he's just got to clean up the interception, but you got to lead him on touchdown drives. That's what they're struggling with, the long balls.
Completing passes as well as this one is complete to Braylon Addison. And first time playing here at Hamilton Stadium since 2022. It said on social media earlier this week that he finally felt like himself again this season after the Achilles tear. And Tiger Cats fans, despite the fact he's in red and black here today, definitely have a soft spot for Braylon Addison.
Yeah, Braylon, just on an underneath route, you take these smaller receivers, you want those guys to get the ball in space. Let some other people go the deeper routes, put him underneath to make people miss. Nice read by Tyree Adams.
Tremendous season for the Hamilton Tiger Cats when he was healthy and at his best. Is this one picked off? And it comes back the other way. A big hit dropped by Addison. But immediately Deshaun Amos adds to his season tally as Tyree Adams picked off early. And downhill go the Hamilton Tiger Cats after the touchdown pass from Bo Levi Mitchell to Tim White. The second highest scoring offense in the CFL gets an extra possession thanks to this pick from Amos. Making waves here at Hamilton.
How does the defense create takeaways? It's pressure. Watch this, Reggie Stubblefield, he's covering the tight end. But as the tight end blocks, Reggie blitzes off the edge. This is what you call contain. As Tyree pulls it and goes, he feels this pressure, so he just tries to throw it late, blind, or he tries to throw it early, and you just can't do that. He's got to either avoid or throw the ball away. The pressure from Reggie Stubblefield puts the ball in Deshaun Amos's hands.
Take an inside run here and then flip the end around to Tim White. Why not? He's already got the wheels turning with the touchdown, and now they'll pick up a first down flying down that right sideline. A little flip from Bo Levi and Mitchell. You got to feel for Tyree Adams on that interception. Despite the interception, losing his footing and all the rest leads to this from Tim White.
Here's this little reverse. Marshall, these things come out after bye weeks. Why? You have a lot more time as a coach. As an offensive coordinator, Scott Milanovich has time. He's sitting around. He's got some time. Hey, let's put a reverse in. Remember that reverse we ran week 3? Let's go ahead and put that back in. Let's get a look at it. Get more practice time. That's why you usually see after a bye week, you see some special plays.
Kenny Lawler in motion here. Uses the waggle to his advantage. Bo goes left all the way, comes back to the right. Kenny one-on-one up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Looking for that 15th touchdown of the season, but it hits the turf as coverage supplied that time by Adrian Fry.
This is all about the trust that Bo has with Kenny Lawler. You hear him talk about it all the time he's here. If you watch this play as we roll it right away, Bo Levi Mitchell's looking to his left. He's trying to figure out where I'm throwing the football. He knows Kenny's on a post in the middle of the field. So at the end of the play, he just goes, you know what? I'm just going to throw it up to Kenny. He's going to make the play. give him an opportunity when he didn't like what he saw to the left of the field, and that's a good philosophy to have.
He had a chance at it too, but when Bo's looking left and Kenny's using the waggle to the right, do you really believe Bo's looking to the left for a purpose? That's the question maybe facing playoff defenses moving forward, as now he rips this one to Shamar Bridges, underused this year because of Lawler's explosion, but inside the 15-yard line goes Bridges with his 33rd catch of the season.
This is what's made this Ticats offense very difficult this season, because as Bo's trying to climb the football and run, he finds his next check down, something he wasn't doing last year in this system. He's really finding it as he's climbing the pocket. Instead of running, he's finding that check down, and all of a sudden when everybody's lifted in zone for the deeper routes, it turns into a huge explosive play on a 5-yard throw.
Tim White checking in to make sure he has the call correct here as Davion Taylor, a late substitution for the Red Blacks defense. It's 1st and 10 after the Bridges catch. Into his hands quickly. It is Greg Bell. Gets pushed out of bounds to CJ Colden right there in coverage. Again, you mentioned it, Lapo. He's in on so many plays for them. And present always when the running back comes out of the backfield into the boundary.
Does a good job on these low underneath throws. Hamilton will throw the ball. Bo get out of his hands real quickly. It's called a 3-step drop where the ball's out immediately. Doesn't allow the pass rush of the Red Blacks to get there.
First head-to-head for Bo Levi Mitchell against Tyree Adams, operating at the line of scrimmage midway through this first quarter with a 7-0 advantage. Blitz is on for the Red Blacks, and Mitchell almost throws an interception. Likely should have been if Colden didn't lose his feet that time.
See the chess match at the line of scrimmage. Bo Levi hand signaling to his receivers as he recognizes the coverage from the Red Blacks. Red Blacks show a pressure like they're bringing everybody out. Then they drop out into zone. Just kind of puts Bo off this throw a little bit. Not on the same page with Kenny Lawler what's going to be from a route. You can see Kenny there confused what's happening.
A little bit of miscommunication that time. We've rarely seen that between Mitchell and Lawler in this tremendous season that they've had. As Mark Leggio,
speaking of tremendous seasons, great year for him.
Very special as Bo Levi Mitchell helps get another 3 points on the board, and certainly something to prove for Bo here at the end of the 2025 regular season. With more, here's Kenzie Lalonde.
Yeah, Marshall, when I had a chance to ask Bo Levi Mitchell this week, what would it mean to you to secure first place in the East? He said it would mean everything. It would mean bringing that winning touch to a new city and delivering on the promises made to those like Steinauer and also Scott Milanovic. But also he's excited to help form a winning pathway here within this team to set this group up for long-term success. Revenberg just speaking so highly of him, bringing that quarterback championship caliber to the position. Of course, the charisma he has to execute.
Tyree Adams takes the snap and hands it off. William Stanback going nowhere as we see Bo Levi Mitchell in the starting defense of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This group will support him headed into the playoffs.
Julian Hauser, the nominee for most outstanding defensive player, has a great year with 11 sacks. Reggie Stubblefield played great down the stretch. Look from, you better handle him in your protection scheme and know where he is. And Stavros Katsantonis leads the team in defensive tackles, leads the team in interceptions, having a great year at the free safety spot.
By the way, you officially know that it's CFL playoff time when there's an oversized turtleneck like Kenzie Lalonde down on the field. Immediately, this one hit the turf, incomplete. Isn't that right, Lapo? You see the that turtleneck, Kenzie, that screams it's playoff time. It's time to get going here. Get the running game going, get some defense.
We're warming the booth. Kenzie's working hard down there.
As always.
You know, another short 2 and out for the Red Blacks. You know, unfortunately, they've got to find a way to score points in the first quarter. The fewest points in the Canadian Football League in the first quarter, always playing from behind.
The moonshot this time dropped down by Richie Leone and caught on the run by Wooden is a big special teams tackle. And Lucas Cormier back in the lineup makes his impact felt on special teams as the Hamilton faithful here in attendance here for the final week of the regular season, but very much looking forward to a playoff duel down the road. As we see the spear here at the end of the play, Isaiah Wooden going helmet to helmet there with Lucas Cormier as the offensive line for the Hamilton Tiger Cats looking to get things cooking here tonight. And our Luke Wilson is on the sidelines. Luke?
Yeah, Marshall, this is kind of one of the unsung heroes of this team. Obviously, we want to talk about Bo Levi Mitchell, Kenny Lawler, and rightfully so. But I love their offensive line, and early in one of those drives, I thought the left side, specifically Revenberg and Murray, were doing a great job here. You watch this. Revenberg's going to step down, then climb, and then you got your fullback coming across here, and he's going to absolutely kick out the end. And if we go eyes back, you can see the left guard, left tackle really working up the field, springing a hole for Bell. And then later on that drive, similar. Look at this combination here from Revenberg and Murray. You got to love this if you like big boy ball. Revenberg, 1, 2, 3, boom! Snap them on, climb up looking for work. In this league, you can run the ball successfully on first down. Really, and you got Kenny Lawler and Bo Levi Mitchell coming in on second and short. World's your oyster.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Luke. We were actually joking this week with Brandon Revenberg about the idea that Michael Wakefield said he's probably one of the best offensive linemen in the CFL. We told Rev that. He said, yeah, I'm not going to let him butter me up before I play against him. I'm not going to take any compliments from anybody, as Greg Bell deserves plenty of compliments for the jump cut to the outside here and steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line. But what a move by Bell.
Just what Luke talked about, hitting the run game. This is pulling offensive linemen, so you're going to have guys going this way, and you're going to pull two people at this point of attack, and you're going to create a big crease right here. Let's take a look, and that's what you want. You want to define and create the hole for the back. Cormier's there, can't make the tackle because there's too much space. Good vertical run on the gap play. I'm pulling two people at the point of attack on the counter.
23-yard running, now just 15 yards away from 1,000 on the season for Greg Bell as Bo Levi Mitchell with pressure coming, checks this one down underneath. And it will be Darius Pickett there as Kenny Lawler makes another grab. Not the explosive touchdown celebration type of catches we've seen all season long, but getting it out of Bo's hands nevertheless.
And one of the things you want to do for this Hamilton Tiger Cats offense, you want to be running the football like this team can, because you can add the extra tight ends into the run game. Now everybody's sort worried about, all right, we got to cover more people inside, and we're going to force more one-on-ones on the outside. And when you get Kenny Lawler in a one-on-one, that's when they're going to take their shots. So run game helps this unit get the ball downfield.
Staying defensive player Javon Santos Knox, former Hamilton Tiger Cat himself, is now Bo Levi Mitchell rips this one to the corner and trying to get Kenny Lawler into the end zone as he throws into double coverage on that one. And heard from Mitchell before the Calgary game 2 weeks ago where essentially it was, hey, you're allowed to try and force the Kenny Lawler because he makes ridiculous catches, but this one never in doubt.
Yeah, this is a corner route you can see right there, but Mark Milton does a good job. He's already outside position, and then he sees it happen, so he just undercuts the corner route, puts it in a position where it's difficult, right, for him to make that opportunity. Wasn't sure whether he thought maybe Kenny was going to go flatter on that.
Don't you get the sense, Slappa, when Kenny's running anything vertical that the second defender is like 70% worried about Kenny, not his own guy? Like whether it's zone or man, they're just so focused on Kenny at all times.
Well, the underneath people should definitely be like, give them the hitch, play the corner route.
As this one knocks through, Mark Leggio, money as always. The flames are high and the pressure is on. MasterChef Canada, all new Tuesdays on CTV. Stream the next day on Crave. Week 21 in the Canadian Football League. Hard to imagine the journey that it's been, but Scott Milanovich telling us this week he's got about 5 different moments where he gained belief in this team, whether it was short week going to BC's, short week going to Edmonton, getting victories there, battling back after a difficult Labor Day Classic loss when they went on the road and ran the football against Montreal. Plenty of different reasons for Tiger Cats fans to be excited as this one zipped in by Tyree Adams, who took a massive blow but completes to Justin Hardy across the 55. Devin Veresuk, the most outstanding rookie there.
Using the launch point, but moving the launch point allows him to get around. But sooner or later, what's called the secondary contain, the linebacker's going to say you can't run all the way. Justin Hardy finds a great spot in the zone. But hats off to Tyree. He took a shot from Veresuk, but locate the football.
Adams, toughness beyond his 6'1", 180 size is downhill. Destin Talbert flies in from boundary halfback out of North Dakota State in his second year with the organization and makes the play.
a BTL, behind the line of scrimmage screen pass. You've got to be able to block the players downfield. You can see right here, Justin Hardy's coming through, but then Talbot recognizes it's a screen, and he beats Braylon Addison to make the play in the backfield. That's a huge tackle for a loss. Great play by Destin Talbot, using his physicality, his speed, and recognizing the concept.
Tyree Adams looks to throw once again, and this one intercepted. Second of the ball game, and Reggie Stubblefield has it. Looking for maybe somebody to lateral to, but now will take off right up the middle. Now he does chuck it backwards. Stavros Katsantonis crosses the 50 and nearly has the football punched out by Khalil Pimpleton. But Hamilton's defense all over it once again here at home.
There's going to be a curl route right here, and then there's going to be movement to the outside, and it's going to look like it's an open play as the movement shows up. But then great recognition by Stubblefield, saying, nope, I'm going to fool you that I'm going out, but I'm going to fall back in as that curl's thrown. Too much time, too late on the throw. Stubblefield, a really instinctual play, showing that I've expanded, but I'm playing the inside route.
Well, Levi Mitchell with another short field here, inside a minute remaining in this first quarter. And Stubblefield holds tight to that football for now. And we get another look at the interception.
A couple different pictures here by defense coordinator Brent Munson, but just inviting that throw to the inside. Tyree thinks that he's going to be expanding all the way outside, and then Stubblefield fools him and breaks back. Nice play.
Then we go back to our CFL rugby roots and a little
bit of lateral at the end.
Pitch it down the line. Why not? As Jake Joel-Agala punches this one forward and picks up the first down. Stubblefield with the only quarterback sack for the Tiger Cats defense against the Calgary Stampeders a few weeks ago, and then ends up getting the second interception of the ball game already in this first quarter.
You can see after the bye week, the Hamilton Tiger Cats look fresh, ready to go. They got 70 yards rushing already in this game, 71 yards rushing against the second best run defense in the Canadian Football League. Right, so they're keeping the Red Blacks off balance by mixing it up.
Bo Levi Mitchell gets this one out complete and diving forward to the 25-yard line. Keandre Smith gets yet another as Mitchell continues to gun it up and down the field. No roses for Tyree Adams here in the first quarter with 2 interceptions. Numbers after 1 quarter of play here in Hamilton, the final week of the regular season, and yet again, Lapo, the Ottawa Redblacks with a donut sitting there on the scoreboard after 1. It's been such a struggle, regardless of quarterback this season, for them to get points on the board early on.
Yeah, early on. So this is the 16th game out of 18 games where they have 3 or less points. They have 0 points, 0 points last week. They've got to find a way to create things faster. Obviously, Tyree Adams with 2 interceptions aren't helping. But for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, 5 carries for Greg Bell, 50 yards rushing. Really good start for them running the football. The bye week was good for their run game.
And here's what we're looking at with the playoff picture currently is Hamilton and Montreal tied as it stands right now. If Hamilton gets the victory, they are the East Division champions. They get the bye week. That's why they've been treating this like a playoff game, because Scott Milanovic said it essentially is. We get an opportunity to move to the next level. If we win this game, we do not want to leave that up to Montreal to lose against Winnipeg coming up tomorrow. Is this one complete? Shamar Bridges catches it at the 20 and tackles at about the 11-yard line. Milanovic's belief is do not allow anybody to try and give you help, because there's no guarantee it's ever coming. Take care of your own business.
Bo recognizes the blitz coming out, gets it to the underneath. Shamar Bridges, when teams blitz and bring everybody, there's nobody at the inside to work to, out to the outside breaking route. So the route breaks back inside. Nice, easy gain. Bo recognizing the blitz. You talked about Scott. Scott talked about, hey, we're a good team when we protect the football and take the football away. 2 weeks ago, they lost the turnover margin, -3, already +2 in this game so far.
Levi Mitchell hands it off here to Greg Bell on first down. As Mitchell inside the score zone this season, 20 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Certainly has a knack for finding the end zone. He's already at 35 touchdowns on the season. That ties his career high for a single season mark. And Kenny Lawler also sitting at 14 touchdowns, 1 shy of Tony Champion's franchise record in a single season. How poetic it would be if they do connect, that Bo gets a new single season high and Lawler gets a franchise tying high of 15 touchdowns in a single year. They'll play second down and 8, and Mitchell with the snap. Bouncing off the hands, and at the bottom of the pile there, Bo looks like he wasn't able to get back on top of it. They'll talk it over, but Cleon Lang has the football, and the Red Blacks ruin the perfect opportunity for Hamilton deep inside the score zone to cash in.
Just the snap just went a little high. Bo tapped it to bring it down, and Cleon Lang right there to steal it away from Bo. Cleon Lang made the tackle on the last play and just rips it out of his hands as they go down. 2 guys are going for it. Cleon used his strength to pull it away from Bo. Make the play.
Well, if you're a Tiger Cats fan, you're not happy about the turnover, but also I don't think you want Bo Levi Mitchell, whether it's the right shoulder or the left shoulder, battling that man.
Give him the ball.
At the bottom of the pile. The Bo sees one let go. And inside run gets stacked up here. And it's not a major concern. It's not as though it's a major fault in this team, Lapo, but thinking about Labor Day, thinking about a couple of games since then, at times, the snaps have been a little all over the place, and Mitchell's had to kind of deal with them. Those are the plays in the playoffs as they get ready for this run, whether it's East Semi, East Final, that do make you wonder whether or not the basics are locked down.
You may not overcome those mistakes in the playoffs versus some of the other teams.
Tyree Adams with pressure on, checks it underneath. William Stanback makes the grab, and Tyree did tell us this week that he did not want to just rely on using his legs, needed to do a better job of getting to his checkdowns. Great example right there.
I do like this, trying to find his throw, but young quarterbacks got to understand your checkdowns will create first downs. You're never going to go broke. Marshall put money in the bank.
Yes, sir.
So there you go. He throws the check down. It just creates a good player, the ball in space, too much space. You're going to get first downs on second and medium.
I'll go with a flea flicker here. Inside to Stanback, then Adams looking over the top. Justin Hardy! And Hardy dives to make the grab into Hamilton territory. What an acrobatic catch on a little trickeration from the Red Blacks, and a high five from the head coach to boot.
So you're going to get a post here and a second post, but there's the big thing is the flea flicker. So you're going to try to get the eyes distracted of the defensive backs. They get caught, and then in a chase position, Hardy does his best to run this ball down. That's a great throw by Tyree, but watch this concentration. Look the ball right into his hands. Excellent play. Destin Talbot did his best to get underneath it, but just too much by Tyree Adams.
As Tyree Adams looks to throw, dances out of the pocket here on 1st and 10 down the field, and with limited options, cuts back, gets wrapped up and thrown down. But with that catch on the deep ball and the flea flicker, Justin Hardy over 1,000 yards now, as he's able to do that for the 3rd straight season, and the last Ottawa receivers to do that the last 3 years in a row. 2018, Brad Snopley and Greg Ellingson as well. But Hardy has just been so money for this franchise despite some thin times.
Underneath guy, deep ball. They've done a lot of different things with him. Just a great professional. You sit in a meeting room with the guy, he doesn't say a word all day. You talk to him, he's like, yes, coach, thank you. Right? He is a great professional, great for this organization.
Braylon Addison makes the grab here. They'll move the chains, and I loved being able to talk to Justin Hardy before the game against the Montreal Alouettes last week, where I said it seems like you just make 1,000 catches and you just kind of shrug and go home. And he goes, yeah, that's kind of how it is. Like, I've never met somebody so productive and so low-key about the level of excellence that they have. It's amazing to see Justin Hardy at work.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a homebody. I just go home. I just go home.
I do nothing.
I do nothing.
What do you do on the bye week? Do you go away? Do you go? No, I like to relax. Okay. Then you just go back to work and you get another 1,000 catches. Amazing work by him. And the Ottawa Redblacks certainly thankful to have his services as William Stanback pounds that one up inside.
You know, Tyree Adams right now has got 9 yards. Last week he had 26 yards using his legs. You know, he's not a big quarterback, Marshall. He's about 180 pounds.
Yeah.
But he's not going to run over people like Dustin Crum, but he does have a lot of quickness at his position. So he's able to escape and do some things. But he's really, this job interview for him is show I can put the ball in tight places like he did on the flea flicker.
Drew Brown and Dustin Crum watching on as Tyree Adams goes to work. Rips this one outside, comeback route complete. And just putting his head down, he might be small, but never afraid of contact, is Khalil Pimpleton, the most outstanding player nominee for the Ottawa Redblacks in 2025.
The one thing Tyree Adams has when I used to work with him is he's got arm strength. Watch him rip this football. He knows he's got the comeback on the outside. That's a beautiful throw on time to Pimpleton. Pimpleton uses his speed to clear everybody out, but a great location and great throw by Tyree.
Roll to the right once again, set it up for Stanback into the flats, dives to the end zone, and touchdown Redblacks. William Stanback.
Very similar play to the play Destin Talbot made a big stop on. Get the ball on a behind the line of scrimmage play. Let your receivers block. Get it to William Stanback and let him turn his shoulders up and get in the end zone. Great location by Tyree, and William Stanback does the rest. Hats off to the Redblacks receivers blocking downfield to create that opportunity to grab the sledgehammer and the touchdown. And a second quarter touchdown once again for the Redblacks.
Yeah, and a little bit of love as well. Justin Hardy crossing the 1,000-yard mark on that drive. Some creative play calling coming in as well from Tommy Condell, their offensive coordinator. Into the end zone goes William Stanback. His first receiving touchdown of 2025 comes here in the final week of the regular season.
13-7. Hamilton over Ottawa. We've got a fumble by Bo Levi Mitchell in field goal range that led to an 8-play, 96-yard drive. The flea flicker to the great throw to Hardy. Tyree Adams using his legs for a big 8-yard gain to keep this drive alive. And then a great comeback throw on the outside to Pimpleton on the wheel route. Comeback. And then William Stanback takes it in from 6 yards away for the touchdown. Nice response by the Redblacks after the takeaway.
A team that hasn't done a great job of scoring points off of turnovers this year. That just their 65th point off the turnovers as Cleon Lang creates it. And Tyree Adams and the offense takes advantage and does a great job of cashing in here to close down the gap on Hamilton.
How about his offensive lineman tackling him last week? He's 40 years old.
And then
don't tackle.
Turning around and screaming at his offensive lineman, and then claiming later, "No, we were just joking about it. We had a good conversation."
Not a joke.
I'm pretty sure he was angry. But yeah. They'll work it. They'll figure out. Just glad he's not a Jet, I'm sure, at this point for A-Rod. No, that pass complete. Lucas Cormier there making the tackle. Canadian on Canadian. Keandre Smith on the receiving end, but a gain of maybe half a yard on the play.
Couple tight ends in the game. Show a run look and then quick play action pass. But good tackle by Cormier on the perimeter.
Great talking to a couple of defenders of the Redblacks throughout this season, and they just kept referencing over and over again, hey, Cormier is a player. Like, Cormier is a real good guy in this locker room. He makes a ton of plays on film that other players that are sitting in that same room have appreciation for, as he makes that one on first down. Now 2nd and 9. And a check down underneath. Catch and run, trying to make a tackler miss, and he does, but Smith slides down. Running east-west after one missed tackle, and they'll be short of the sticks by, it looks like, a full yard.
Keandre's on the check down underneath because he's in protection. Right there, he's got to get north-south if he can. You thought he would have had it earlier if he just could square your shoulders, because you don't have to get all the yardage. You just got to get it to 3rd and 1, which I think that's going to put him, they're pretty close to this. position to take a chance at it.
Got to get to the 44 in their own end of the field. It's just a little bit more than a full yard as Jake Dolegala checks into the game. Substitution confusion for the Red Blacks. And the snap comes up, so do flags. And it looks as though it will be 13 men against Ottawa's defense.
Ottawa's trying to get their last extra player off, but right as the ball was snapped, he was still on the field. And
too many players. Ottawa. 10-yard penalty makes it a first down.
And it doesn't matter. You're not part of the play, but if you're still on the field, they're going to call it. So somebody was running right off the field, was just about to get off the field. The official saw it immediately. It's a 13-man.
Dolegala working in short yardage here. Headed into the playoffs for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Taylor Powell, the backup quarterback. Bo Levi Mitchell, now 35 passing touchdowns on the season after throwing one to Tim White early on in this ball game. Looks for the wide side this time, and Kenny Lawler comes back and gets it in front of Lockridge, complete.
The trust that Bo Levi has in Kenny Lawler, as you see, this is it's not a one-on-one matchup. As they starting to run and go here, there's still a safety over the top to help. But he says, I'm just going to throw it all the way outside, put myself in a position where Cam Lockridge can't make the play, even though there's two people over you got Cam Lockridge and the field halfback over the top, Mark Milton, trusting the throw on the outside. His ability to catch from all angles is one of the things Bo loves about Kenny Lawler.
Just another day in the office for Kenny Lawler. His inside run. Greg Bell pounds this one forward. Little help from his offensive line at the end of the play as well, as we get another look at Kenny Lawler. He has been exceptional this season. So many memorable moments, whether it be on the road in Toronto with the big multi-touchdown game, being able to score despite being extremely sick here in the Labor Day Classic at the end of the game. Obviously, that one didn't go Hamilton's way, but another massive impact, memorable moment for him. It just goes on, and the question becomes, will he have a memorable CFL playoff run, maybe a Grey Cup moment that goes down in history after a major season? That's the hope, certainly, for black and gold fans here as they face 2nd and 5. Mitchell with flags flying on the snap, looks over the middle, and that one bobbled and pops out of the hands of Keandre Smith, incomplete. And a bit of a clunky snap process at the line of scrimmage as well. Looks like it'll go against Hamilton and be declined.
Offside, Ottawa number 89. Penalty decline. Makes it 3rd down.
And it is Lawler, Hamilton 89. Yep.
Lawler, Hamilton.
Once again, a couple of red zone opportunities, turnover, another stop here by the Red Blacks.
A little bit similar to the game that we did in Ottawa with Montreal last week. Remember, short fields for Montreal, and they couldn't cash in, had to keep settling for field goals as Mark Leggio already his 3rd attempt of the evening here. So Ottawa just kind of hanging around the last couple of weeks, trying to play the spoiler with their 4-13 record. Losing streak of 5 straight games at this point in the season, the same as Toronto ended their year. And the Red Blacks trying to make sure that they don't end the season on a 6-game losing streak. Head into the offseason on a positive, and certainly would love to have Tyree Adams be the one to bring that to them. 27 of 44 last week to 8 different receivers. Long journey for Tyree Adams to be here with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and you never know where support will come from. With more, here's our Kenzie Lalonde.
Yes, and taking over starting duties, Tyree Adams has heard from a lot of friends and family, but maybe no one more important than his grade 9 high school teacher, Brenda Hankin, who taught him at Hollins High School in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, Adams went to speak to her class before she retired, and she even came to Ottawa to watch a Red Blacks game, even though he wasn't playing. Miss Hankin really represents those relationships that matter most to Adams, the ones built on genuine care.
Yeah, we all need a little bit of support like that in our lives. I love those pictures too. They're tremendous. Also, how did Marco Dubois get into the picture there?
Well, I love
they staged a lot of pictures
in front of certain areas, and I don't know. My
That's
ninth
awesome.
grade teacher might punch me if he ever saw me again. He's like, oh, that guy? Get that guy out of here.
It's tremendous, yeah. And
That's a great story.
Tyree also telling us that he kind of brought back the feeling like he had when he was in college as well, of getting texts from loved ones and friends last week, getting his first start, and people saying, hey, I'm going to be watching. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see what you got going on. And yeah, he certainly played with that kind of inspiration and wants to end the season on a high note here. Is on second down. This one is incomplete and thrown in behind the intended receiver. Braxton Hill, the linebacker, there to knock it away.
Just a little bit off on this throw. He's got an opening. As he tries to see it, throws upside, just throws it about a little bit far in outside so Hill can come in and make the play. Hardy was open for a big gain if he put a little bit more on it. Nice play by Hill, coming in and knocking it down.
Leone ready to send it away with 2 returners back for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And a high wobbling boot will drop down short the 35-yard line and kick out of bounds, as Kenny Lawler, coming off his 4th game of 100+ yards receiving this season. He had 113 yards, 1 touchdown on 8 catches against the Calgary Stampeders, tying his season high with 13 targets as well.
Here's what I loved about Kenny Lawler back when I had the opportunity to coach him. Like, for a big guy, he runs way better than the defensive backs have an understanding. So you want receivers who can run by people all day, yes, and you just throw them the ball. But you also have to have guys when a DB's running with him, this guy will out-jump people for the ball, but he also, you can place it anywhere around the framework of his body, he's going to come down with it.
A couple of catches for 24 yards so far in this ballgame. Is this one up for grabs and incomplete? As Cam Lockridge there in coverage on Shamar Bridges, and it hits the turf.
Okay.
As we have hit the 3-minute warning here in Hamilton. Bridges with an opportunity, can't bring it down. Hamilton up 16-7.
Everyone, I know you're expecting Kate Burness, but instead you get me, the pride and joy of Hamilton, Kia Nurse.
I love it. You've been working on your tan, huh, King?
Upgrade. Whoops. I'm right here.
Hi, Kia.
Kia.
It's good to see you, Kia.
Nice.
This is what happens when we
Joining
have
the panel. Love it.
every sport on the planet being played in the same building here this evening. Kia's in the house, and so is Keandre Smith. Another pride of Hamilton. Across the 55 he goes. First down for the Tiger Cats.
The ability to throw the ball into the middle of the field. Bo Levi just spots this above the linebackers. You'll see Keandre Smith go back around into the middle of the field, and he just throws it over the top of the crossing route. Beautiful throw to Keandre Smith. Bo feeling it and seeing it inside on the crossing route.
Mitchell, little run fake, and then sidearms this one. Almost skipping rocks that time, looking into the toes of Keandre Smith, incomplete.
Really good pressure on the outside. Bryce Carter recognizes that Bo's pulling the ball on the outside. Bryce Carter is what creates this quick throw, using his athleticism on the outside, forcing this throw to be quick.
I know you're a big rock skipping guy when you go to the cottage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Flat rock. Got to find the flat ones.
Yeah. Mitchell on 2nd and 10. Smith in motion into the backfield once again. Helps pick up the blitz, and Mitchell finds an open receiver. Greg Bell catches it, spins away from first contact, and dives forward. Needed to get to the 41-yard line. See where they spot the football here. Looks like it's going to be just a little bit shy, but in plus territory with 2 minutes remaining. I wonder if Hamilton will go once again.
These are some of the things that Bo talked about when we interviewed him this week. He's like, hey, if our defense is hot, or they've had a long drive and they've went, I got to make sure I'm not always taking the deep shot. I got to make sure there's a time and a place for the deep shot, but if it isn't there, check it down and let it go. And here you go. You put yourself in another 3rd and short opportunity. You put your offense for one more opportunity by checking the football down.
Dolegala back into the ball game here, digs in under center, rolls his way to the right-hand side and picks up the first down on that last play. A little Freaky Friday switch maybe between Keandre Smith picking up the blitz and Greg Bell releasing out into the flats. So Hamilton showing some different looks headed into the playoffs.
That's a big push right there on a 3rd and 2. That's really good. Get there, block the outside edge. Don't go right over the center. Go off the tackles, because that's where the more smaller defensive players are. Usually right over the center. Big guys are going to drop down. So nice 2-yard gain. Stay on the field.
Whistles here is the Ottawa bench.
A player injured over on the Ottawa sideline.
Communication, so
is it DeAndre Lamont? Yep.
So Lamont is down on that Ottawa sideline, and obviously in some discomfort as Bob Dice goes over to check in with his starting free safety. Justin Howell listed as the backup here this evening. And here Cumberbatch, the rookie 5th-round pick from the University of Ottawa, as well on the roster at free safety. But Lamont obviously got into the mess of short yardage here on the Dolegala sneak. And good to see him up onto his feet and headed to the bench.
Bottom of the line, I think you'll see him at the edge. Takes a head shot to the head.
Just got caught. Johnny Augustine. As this time quick screen, one hands by Kenny Lawler is kind of an awkward angle. Ball pops out at the end of the play as well, but they'll say he's down. It's one of those plays that doesn't seem like much, but trying to make a catch like that in traffic when you're going the wrong direction, not easy, and Lawler makes it look just that.
Screen on the outside, and you try to do these screens to make the defensive lineman run. And if you look right here, Blessman Tahala, he is sprinting to make the play. You force D lineman to run sideline to sideline to make the play, but that's a spectacular play by the defensive line, chasing the ball across the width of the field.
2nd and 7. Clock rolls inside 90 seconds remaining here for the 10 and 7. Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to lock down first place in the East Division tonight with a victory. As this one nearly intercepted, and Lawler's got it. First down for the Tiger Cats, and could have easily gone the other way for 6.
Great pickup on the pressure. Bell does a good job of protecting Bo to his blind side. There's going to be 2 defenders coming off this side. They do an excellent job of picking up the 2 blitzers. Gives us the throw outside. Just not there, CJ Colden. It's inside. He's in inside position. He just misses it. Gets it to Kenny Lawler. Nice run after catch.
Tiger Cats dig in at the line of scrimmage. As Colden looking for his 4th interception of the season. It'll have to wait this time over the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown! Tim White's got his 2nd of the ball game, and Bo Levi Mitchell has a new single-season career high 36 passing touchdowns in a single campaign.
Bo Levi Mitchell recognizing people going to the left, so I'm going to throw the ball to the right. As everybody opens to the left, he knows he has a post in the middle of the field. Hits Tim White in stride for the new career high for his Hall of Fame career.
Think about all of the seasons, all the accolades, all the touchdown passes. This is the greatest touchdown season of Bo Levi Mitchell, and filed under poetic numbers here in week number 21. That man has 2 catches. Both of them are 21-yard touchdowns.
And you see him already looking, you can see his eyes to the right, already looking like, I know I've got Tim White. I just got to make sure the free safety moves enough so I can get there. Tim White makes it on the second catch, fries in an outside position, can't make the play. So too many times you're going to give that to Bo, he's going to hit you in the middle.
Tim White talked this week in media availability about receivers maybe not getting as many opportunities as they would like because Shamar Bridges' numbers extremely down on the year because of the implementation of Kenny Lawler. And Tim White still having a very productive year, but certainly if he was the man and Lawler wasn't here in Hamilton, his numbers would be even bigger. But when they step up and they spread the football around, that's when Hamilton's passing attack is at its best. 23 points on the board here with 1:08 remaining in the first half. They averaged 28.8 points per game on the season. So they are firing it up and down the field here as an 8-play, 79-yard touchdown drive. It only took 2 minutes, and it results in Tim White getting his second major of the ball game as Ottawa with possession back, trailing 23-7.
You also, Greg Bell gets a lot of touches. Giovanni Robinson this year has got a lot of touches. So they're spreading the ball around on this Hamilton offense. It makes it very difficult when you got a trigger like Bo who can put it in all the spots and recognize when it's time to take the one-on-ones and when it's time to take the check.
Which, by the way, as I see Bo looking at the tablet there, he's a big Houston Astros guy. So I asked him, hey, you happy about George Springer being able to have some success and all the rest? He said, no, I hate it, because I wish he was a Houston Astros still. I'm happy for you guys and everybody around here. Yeah, sure, whatever the Blue Jays. But I said, hey, Kenzie, you need to keep an eye on that tablet tonight. Make sure that the Jays game isn't playing with
there's no baseball.
Bo's checking in. As now into the backfield, Casey Sales, the rock of this defense, makes the sack, and they'll say touchdown. Sales turns around and points at Miles Fox, and out of nowhere, the ruling on the field is that Tyree Adams wasn't down, and Miles Fox walks into the end zone. Bob Dice will have a discussion with previous players. Ryan Kruplo, which scoring play under review. But Casey Sales was ready to just celebrate the basics of the sack.
Casey Sales playing over at the nose guard position. He beats the center. And as Tyree's going down, I think they're going to call that down.
Yeah, the elbow.
The elbow is going to create that opportunity to go down. But Casey Sales, great win with a speed move, beats the center, gets to Tyree. Tyree doesn't have any opportunity when a defensive lineman wins in the A-gap, Marshall, like right by the center. It's going to be very hard for any quarterback to avoid that player and make something else happen. While we wait, we'll wait to see what the replay center says.
After review by the replay center, ball carrier is down by contact at the 20-yard line.
Okay.
Second down.
Tim Croker with the call here from the CFL replay center as Bob Dice and his team get to maintain possession, but they're still staring down.
2nd and 20. Not a lot on the sheet that's good on 2nd and 20, Marshall. You only got a couple of calls.
Especially here at the end of the first half when it's damage limitation. Adams completes this one and into the flats. Daniel Adebaboye gets to meet a couple of former Argonauts in different uniforms here. Jamal Peters makes the open field tackle.
Sometimes you got to protect your underneath players. If there's a corner outside on this throw, you want to either throw it earlier or don't throw that. Find somewhere else to go so your running back doesn't take that shot. Peters is an easy position to make a kill shot.
Asked Adebaboye this week, and we chatted with him about what he'll remember this season. Ford said he wanted to take some time to reflect at the end of the campaign and look back on things. But he said when times are really tough, that's when you realize how much you really love the game of football. Because Ottawa has certainly gone through it this year, sitting with 4 victories.
What I liked about Daniel Adebaboye last week is he talked about, you know, he made a stop on a fake punt last week against Montreal. His description of what he saw, that it was a fake punt, was amazing.
Was so good. Just like the Hamilton Tiger Cats passing attack, and the details have caught the eye of our Luke Wilson.
Yeah, you know, when you look at great offenses, obviously you think about talent, but talent alone doesn't get it done. And if you watch some of the minute details that these veteran guys that the Ticats operate with, this is why they're about to clinch the 1 seed. See Kenny Lawler start wide. See how he straightens him up here? He's just saving space to the sideline. It's a perfect throw, sliding catch, big play. Now watch Bo Levi. Eyes are left. He's looking at that free safety. As soon as he goes a little left, he knows he's got Tim White back on the right side to rip that seam in there. So again, when you have the details and the talent, that's when you're about to go on and clinch the 1 seed here in a couple quarters.
Yeah, they're dialed in tonight, Luke. I think everybody can see that, especially just the scoreboard, but the way they're executing as we see Keandre Smith once again. And Luke, they leak him out the back door that time, just trying to find different ways to get these receivers open, aren't they?
They definitely are, and I'll say it, I think a lot of it starts with Kenny Lawler, obviously. But when you're so focused on such a talented individual like Kenny, and then you have the supporting cast, which is still great, it is such a tough offense to stop when they get rolling.
You want to layer routes in zone coverage, and that's what they did. They had multiple players to the boundary side of the field, and that's what you try to do. Put different guys at different levels and get them open.
Mitchell complete underneath. As this one goes to Keandre Smith, Kenny Lawler lost his edge that time on his own.
And those are the details. You know, I was a guest coach with Scott 10 years ago when he was a head coach of Toronto Argonauts, and be able to sit in the back of the room and listen to him talk about the details. They are a very detail-oriented group. They have a good understanding how to throw the football and how to space the football field. People really don't understand like spacing. You know, there's what called splits, where you line up on the field. Well, you say you're in a 3. What is that? 3 yards from the tackle. You're in a 5 yards from the tackle. Just inside the hash, just outside that. All those details matter because that's how the receiver gets into the line of vision of the quarterback's eyes.
It was interesting, actually, talking a couple weeks ago as Mark Leggio lines up this field goal with the Toronto Argonauts MOP nominee Nick Arbuckle, who said, I don't understand why we in the CFL don't use the full width of the field, just stack all the receivers out by the sidelines. Just make everybody cover the absolute widest part of the field and declare what they're doing. But in the first half, Bo Levi Mitchell playing at a high level. And on the other side, it's the Hamilton defense with a couple of first quarter interceptions as Tyree Adams struggling early on, getting picked by Deshaun Amos. And the former Argonaut making his comeback here in the final week of the regular season before Reggie Stubblefield jumped this one as well. And Hamilton at their absolute best when they are creating turnovers and finding a way to score off of them as we go down to our Kenzie Lalonde, who's alongside Deshaun Amos.
Well, look, Scott Milanovic said this week, if you win the turnover margin, good things will happen. 2 huge interceptions, one from yourself, from Reggie Stubblefield. How have you guys been able to execute on defense so far?
We've been trying to do this all week, right? We had a great week of practice this week, and we emphasized getting the ball. We see that our offense puts up points. I think we're the best in the league at putting up points after turnovers, so when we can get the ball back to them, good things happen.
Well, when you're able to control your own fate, you win and you secure first place. How would you describe this team's mindset throughout this game?
Playoff atmosphere. This mindset is this is a playoff game, right? We're not waiting until next week or the week after. This is a playoff game. It's a must win. We need this to set ourselves up in the best position to move forward in the playoffs.
Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Kate, over to you.
All right, Kenzie, we got 26-7 currently for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel. No need to turn the channel. This is as much entertainment as you currently need.
This is it, baby.
This is it.
This
right
is
here.
it.
We are bringing our A game like no A game before.
Where you want to be.
Right here, Davis. I want to be right here talking
no
about
better
these
place.
No,
this is it.
You know what? Let me talk about these Hamilton Tiger Cats because before this game, and I apologize, Kia had to go back to work on the Raptors. I'm pretty sure she's doing every broadcast on this station at the moment. When it comes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you said right before this game, actually all of us said, Hamilton's got to set the tone in this game. They got to come out here. They can't lay back at all. They got to take care of business. We got the East up for grabs this evening, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you come into this game like this, it was inevitable that they should have won this game, but they came out and they played how you were supposed to. And a lot of times in football, that's what you think that what's going to happen is going to happen, but that's not exactly what happens. They came out here and they dominated right off the bat, the first drive of the game for Bo Levi Mitchell and that offense, and they executed tremendously. They had a run game going. They passed tremendously as well, and they got to the touchdown as well. So this is what they had to do, and they got to continue to do this all night long, not give them an opportunity to even think for the Ottawa REDBLACKS that they belong on the same field as them. I mean, at the end of the day, the Ottawa REDBLACKS are almost home. They know that. They packed their stuff. They're ready to go home, and right now, the Bo Levi Mitchell and this team has given them letting them believe that this is not the game they want to be a part of.
When you guys started playing football when you were young or whatever sport you were playing, what was the most important thing you wanted to do is what? Have some fun, right?
Yeah.
These Tiger Cats are having fun right now. And I don't know if Scott Milanovic came into this game telling these guys, just relax enjoy yourself. We're the better team. Let's be honest. We're the better team. If we do what we need to do, we'll go out there and we win, but also have some fun. And that seems to be the case now for these Tiger Cats. You can just see how relaxed they are. You see Stubblefield on this interception, looking to pitch it, have some fun, because they know they are the better team. They know they're a couple of quarters away from being the East champions.
Pitch that too.
They're enjoying themselves.
Pitch that one too.
They're doing everything correct. They're doing everything right. I would imagine maybe they come out in this second half, they score some early points, and they take out some starters. Most importantly, Bo Levi Mitchell, because they want to make sure they're healthy when they host the Eastern Final. So right now, these Hamilton Tiger Cats are playing some good, fun football.
Yeah, are we surprised at all with the series of events that have happened the first half? I don't think so. I think we thought that, when they came into this game and this Hamilton team, they jumped on them. The world knows that this is the Hamilton team that's going to win this game. Everyone knows that this is the Ottawa team that if they get down, they're going to shut it down. And that's kind of what we saw early. One thing I saw is there was a fumble early, or later on in the second quarter by Bo, and the first quarter by Bo. And he's grabbing, I think Cleon Lang, he's grabbing at his arm. This is the things you worry about. And you don't want, like right there, he's grabbing at his arm. You don't want anything injury-wise to happen. I think Bo at that point just lets go of the ball, lets go and gives up the fight. You don't want your guys getting hurt. We saw Kenny jump up and make a, try to make a spectacular catch. You don't want him landing awkwardly. Again, we know the risks that, happens in a football game and that we all realize. But in this situation, I think they try to take the air out of the ball a little bit in the second half. Just get out of this game and
And Deshaun Amos talked about it right before the half there, too, and he was talking about just how they need to finish strong, and they have to start fast as well. But they also have to put themselves in the best situation going forward. They need this bye week. They actually do. You want to get into the scenario where you can sit out the first week of the playoffs and you watch the rest of the league play.
And I hate to bring this up because he's a good friend of mine, but is this Bobby Dice's last game coaching as Ottawa Red Black?
That's not for me to decide, but it's going to be, it'll be tough. I think it's probably tough to stay alive in this climate, what you see and what the attitude around there right now. I don't think.
I'll say this, Milt. Everybody in that Ottawa Red Blacks team is going to be evaluated.
There it is. That's a great point. That's what I was going to say. Everyone from the top to the bottom. Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
By the way, when you posed that question earlier, where you're like, "What's the number one thing?" I was like, "Win." And then everyone else goes, "Have fun." I was like, "Have fun." That's exactly what I thought.
When you don't win, all bets are off.
When I was 4, I wanted to win everything, but again.
Why are you like that, Davis?
Hey, by the way, milestone for our friend Bo Levi Mitchell tonight. That was 2 TD passes in the first half. He has set a new career high with 36 passing TDs. What a season it has been for Bo.
I've been shaking. I love it when you go crazy. You take all my inhibitions. Baby, there's nothing holding me back. You take me places that tear up my reputation. Manipulate my decisions. Baby, there's nothing holding me back. There's nothing holding me back.
It's been nearly 30 years since the CFL introduced its crossover rule, the process by which a fourth-place team in one division can cross over at playoff time to claim the third and final spot in the other. And it's something that's happened pretty regularly, with this being the 13th time in 29 seasons that it's been required.
Anytime you can talk about a crossover in your locker room and have that playoff chance, it just adds that animosity.
Like most weather patterns across this country, the crossover only blows in one direction, west to east. And this year is no exception, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers likely on the move to the east for the postseason, just an outside shot of it being the BC Lions. Now, the exclusivity of the movement from west to east can be partially explained by the West having 5 teams and the East just 4. However, for 13 of the 28 previous seasons the crossover has existed, the divisions were balanced with 4 teams each. And despite Western teams having been better in head-to-head competition for 21 of those 28 seasons, no Western team has ever managed to win 2 road playoff games in the East and get to a Grey Cup. 5 times Western teams have marched into town and stolen a win in the Eastern semifinal, but getting to a Grey Cup through the crossover route has remained elusive, with Western teams owning an 0-5 record in the Eastern final. all of which will set up a lot of intrigue if, as expected, it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers crossing over into the East, seeking to tie a CFL record by appearing in their 6th consecutive Grey Cup game, as well as their first one played at home.
If you have the ability to choose your path to get to the Grey Cup, if they can cross over, it absolutely will be the easier path to the Grey Cup.
2 significant achievements likely only possible by traveling a road that no CFL team has gone before.
Well, it is the 3rd and final installment of the Battle of Alberta tonight. So much on the line for these Calgary Stampeders. VA needs 38 passing yards for his second career 4,000-yard season. Of course, for the Elks, they are not into the postseason, but that turnaround midway through because of this guy, Cody Fajardo, certainly has to make them feel good about next season, to say the least. All right, let's talk about this game now. And for the Calgary Stampeders, there are so many different scenarios. We were actually just going through them. There's literally 8 in front of us. There's too many. So all you can do at this point is take care of business. And like we said about the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you got to win this game.
Yep. And it's not going to be as easy as it has been for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Let's be honest. These Elks are going to try to come in and spoil the fun for the Calgary Stampeders, who are on their way to the playoffs. But I think the main ingredient for these Calgary Stampeders to win the game is Dietrich Mills. I know they're excited by the fact that Vernon Adams over the last 2 games has played a lot better. They've won the 2. But the main reason why they've won these 2 games is that man right there. The man who's going to lead the league in rushing yards over the last 2 games, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's been potent out of the backfield, 62 yards receiving last week. So this is the momentum they want to carry into this game and into the playoffs. This offense has to run through Dietrich Mills. If they can do that, Vernon Adams can continue playing consistently. They can do some things. They can do some damage, not only in this game, but also when they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that they're not playing for anything, the Edmonton Elks. They're not playing for anything. And you think it's easier. Why do you think it's going to be easier? They're not playing for anything.
Because the Elks are a lot better than the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Okay.
That's why it's going to be harder for Calgary.
But if Calgary has the same start that Hamilton did, it's going to be easy to
They had the same start because the REDBLACKS aren't as good as the Elks.
Stop going after the REDBLACKS.
I'm just keeping it 100. I'm keeping it a buck. You know what the young bucks say, keeping it a buck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. Just, again, football is an emotional game. I mean, you can play basketball and baseball, other sports where it's technical and get away. But when you're playing football, it's so physical that I think it's tough to play when you're out of it. But this guy right here, he's going to bring it. You know that. Justin Rankin, he's been awesome this year. I think he'll bring it. That's one thing. If you're playing and you're this Calgary team, you better bring your pads because this young man will bring it. He's got low center of gravity. He runs hard. And if he's out there, he's going to bring it. So that's regardless of what, you better bring it if you're Calgary because that man will.
Yeah, and you look at this Calgary Stampeders defense. I'm going to be interested to see really how they're going to show up as well. And I love the fact that they've been playing really well the last quarter of the season. They've been playing extremely well. And 2 guys that I want to highlight specifically is Adrian Green, who had a terrific season, and Clarence Hicks. 2 guys that coming into this season, nobody really knew much about. Adrian Green, this is one of his first really shots and coming in from BC. He finally gets to be a starter, and he proved and showed all his coaching staff that he belongs on the field, and he is one of the guys that you got to watch out for. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that don't want to throw his way at this moment. He's tied for first in interceptions. Those 2 guys have a huge impact on this defense.
Should be a great second half of our doubleheader, but first we need to wrap this one up. Tiger Cats 26, Milt Steagles, Ottawa REDBLACKS 7. We've got second half action coming up right after this.
Sign it!
Shaking, I love it when you go crazy. You take all my inhibitions, baby. There's nothing holding me back. You take me places that tear up my reputation, manipulate my decisions, baby. There's nothing holding me back. There's nothing holding me back. I feel so free when you're with me, baby. Baby, there's nothing holding me back.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats ready for a playoff party, but one more half of regular season action is in the way of that. They're up 26-7. The REDBLACKS trying to storm their way back in. Tyree Adams, 9 of 14 in the first half. He's with our Kenzie Lalonde.
Tyree, some great progress in the second quarter, connecting with Stan back. What do you want to build off of from that play?
Just going out, finishing strong. Got to go see the things and got to go hit the guys we need to hit, man, and just go keep finishing.
Chance to play spoiler against these Ticats. What do you want to see in the rest of this game?
Well, I'm done, so I want to go see my boy Schiltzy ball out. It may be his last time, maybe his last half, and he may be retiring. So I'm gonna be the best teammate and go watch him ball out, man.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Huh?
little breaking news right there. Kenzie on the interview.
Great job by Kenzie in the conversation with Tyree Adams. His flags fly on the return here as we get a look at the first and the last half, I guess, of this season for Tyree Adams.
Yeah, early interception. Throws the ball when he can't see because of the pressure. Just a little late on this throw. Got to be able to see the outside halfback. Did use his legs a couple of times. Had a couple of nice throws. One touchdown on this quick throw on the screen to William Stanback. 64% completion, but the 2 interceptions
During
hurt
the return,
them.
holding Ottawa number 42. 10-yard penalty, first down.
James Peter, the special teamer for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. As the penalty go against him, Tyree Adams watches on as Matthew Schiltz, who started his career with the Montreal Alouettes over 4 seasons back in 2017, spent a pair of years with the Hamilton Tiger Cats here, including a 1,500 passing yard season in 2023, went on to Calgary and now Ottawa, as here he is, and what sounds like will be his half alone for the remainder of week 21 is Reggie Stubblefield with the knockdown on the first attempt.
It's funny, you know, Matthew Schiltz, you go, okay, he's been in the CFL a couple of years, and all of a sudden you look and it's 8 years.
It's almost a decade, yeah.
So had opportunity to play at a number of spots. Never was able to, had plenty of opportunities in Montreal to kind of earn that starting job, but usually teams, he never was able to secure it in any of the places he's been.
Really effective for the Tiger Cats. Always felt like when he came in and was trying to play savior when they were in a tough spot, did a good job of managing the game. As this time a flag flies, his pass is complete, and Schiltz with his first completion in this final week of the regular season goes to Braylon Addison. And what is the flag? Tim Croker, our referee on the call.
Offside. Ottawa number 0. It's 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
And Addison got the jump start on that snap.
New quarterback, different cadence possibly.
You know what is interesting of note right now, and wanted to mention this a couple of times in the first half, but hard to believe that we're here opening up the second. Geno Lewis.
0 catches. Yeah, I looked at that at halftime.
0 targets.
0 targets, 0 plays.
Leading receiver for the Ottawa REDBLACKS coming into the ball game. He's at the bottom of your screen in motion. As they'll throw this one intercepted, and Jamal Peters jumps the route. And the second half starts just like the first half started, despite a change at quarterback for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Tyree Adams threw a pair. Now number 2 has got another. As Hamilton, a short field when we return.
There's a term you use with the quarterbacks. You got to know who your interceptor is. What's going to happen is you're going to get a vertical route and an outbreaking route. But you have to see what the interceptor's doing. The low player on the outside, Jamal Peters, pause it right here, guys. You see, Jamal Peters doesn't, he's watching the whole time. You have to either throw it back inside or you have got to go to your underneath check down because Jamal Peters is right in the throwing lane for the interception.
Now tied for the team lead with 6 interceptions alongside Stavros Katsantonis. Deshaun Amos getting one earlier than Reggie Stubblefield, and now Peters. So essentially 3 of the 5 members of that secondary have got themselves a pick here tonight as we get another look at Jamal Peters' work.
Just undercuts this ball here. He's just waiting. He knows the ball is going to be thrown to the out route, so he just baits, and then once he sees the ball out of the quarterback's hands, he drives it and makes the play underneath. So, defense put back on the field in a short field situation. trying to get this stop here. Too many interceptions, too many turnovers for this Ottawa defense to handle.
Bo Levi Mitchell with a new career-high single season, 36 passing touchdowns on the year as he looks to throw here, incomplete. And Kenny Lawler running the out route, just off the mark, incomplete. Mark Leggio hits the turf once again to attempt the field goal.
Just outside the red zone, but a little bit of struggles here for Hamilton tonight. I think this is third time close, no touchdowns.
Mitchell moving up to 8th a couple of weeks ago against the Calgary Stampeders on the all-time passing yardage mark. Plenty of different records falling for him after a couple of prestigious seasons, back-to-back 5,000-yard campaigns here in black and gold. Hoping to make some noise in the CFL playoffs. Schultz back out after throwing the interception into Mahal Peters on the last drive. And Bob Dice watching on, trying to find ways to create a little bit of energy on that Ottawa sideline here to close out the 2025 regular season.
See what Matthew Schultz can provide some energy.
Outstanding rookie Keelan White in motion here. Is this one Julian Hauser knocking down right at the line of scrimmage, and Hauser never afraid to pick one off and take it to the house. Had a fumble recovery at home not that long ago.
So the ends have to play not only the run, but they have to play contain. You call this 50-50 contain. And he starts to go down, and then he adjusts immediately as Schultz is trying to throw this quick underneath throw. So good movement by the veteran on the outside. Fooling the quarterback as he pulls the football.
Schultz, deep drop, looks into a window and throw that one complete. And it's Khalil Pimpleton finding a way, came in with over 2,000 all-purpose yards. Good for third in the Canadian Football League and adding to it here.
Gonna like this. X on a dig, Williams standing back out in the flat, move the linebacker and just throw behind the linebacker. Nice easy throw for your quarterback. Pimpleton does a great job always going up and making plays.
Now they'll look for Braylon Addison to throw as he gets close to the line of scrimmage and does cross it, decides to take off and run. But arguably the Swiss Army knife in the Canadian Football League. Is there another guy that does as many different things as Braylon Addison? Running back, slot back.
I don't think people have an understanding of how good that play was. How he started to take the football, then he had a pass option. He was starting to run with it. Now he's deciding whether he's going to run or pass now, and then he ends up getting an 8-yard gain.
Oh, red flag taking off the gloves, though, Braylon. I mean, did you see that? This one handed off inside on 2nd down and 1.
Little self-scout. Yeah, little self-scout. He takes the glove off. He's throwing it deep.
Philip Osai getting around the legs as former Tiger Cats offensive coordinator Tommy Condell now working with the Ottawa REDBLACKS, dialing it up, trying to find some creative ways. We already saw the flea flicker that went to Justin Hardy to get him 1,000 yards mark on the 3rd straight season earlier on.
A couple other interesting calls here. We'll see where they go 3rd and 1. Where they go on this QB sneak.
It is Schultz that stays in and runs straight into most outstanding rookie nominee Devin Verasuk, who puts his fist in the air and believes that Hamilton got the stop, but I don't think Verasuk or Julian Hauser will like the spot on this one.
Well, Schultz did a good job. He's got to get a little bit lower against some of these linebackers, but good push. Matthew Schultz has done that a long time in his career. He's done a lot of wedges in his day. See him come off tackle here. Really good push by the offensive line.
Verasuk, the 2nd overall pick in this year's CFL draft, credited by head coach Scott Milanovich as making the play that changed the Tiger Cats season as they look destined to get the #1 seed with a victory here tonight against Ottawa. William Stanback running off tackle.
Kyle Fisher in on that tackle, very athletic first-year player from Iowa. You know, Brent Munson said he's as athletic as the guy they have in their defense, really fast, can run. One quarterback sack this year and 57 defensive tackles in not a lot of games. It took him a while to get on the roster. It's a special teams demon in the Big Ten for Iowa.
Missed the Calgary game a couple weeks ago with a knee injury. 24-year-old trying to get a stop here with the Hamilton defense, and on 2nd down and 5. They'll wrap up and bring down Matt Schultz.
A little bit of quarterback isolation play. This is a quarterback run all the way. Good stop by Casey Sales. And when you have inside moves and twists, that's what gets in trouble. You try to do these twists, which means have linemen move left and right as the defense. So it's not just a simple pass rush lane. There's multiple players in difficult spots. It's hard for the defensive linemen to make plays. You say Jose Ramirez right there to make the stop.
The offense stays on the field. See whether or not they try to draw Hamilton offside. They'll take the snap and play. Why not? Final week of the regular season, not making the playoffs. Matthew Schultz will use his legs and slides his way down. Picks up just enough for the first down for the Red Blacks.
When Matthew Schultz first came into the league, played for Montreal, this is a lot of things that people liked about him early in his career in Montreal. Like when things broke down, he was able to create with his legs. He played with reckless abandon, ran around, and his teammates really loved playing for him because...
And that time they try to go naked bootleg, but the problem is Julian Hauser's the backside defensive end, Lapo. Not going anywhere.
You gotta play contain when you're a defensive end. Sometimes you don't do your job, you're gonna get beat, but watch Julian right here. Contain means the widest player on your side, you gotta cover him. He doesn't go with the fake, stays outside, makes the tackle. Great play by Julian. Picking up a nice sack there.
Wells Fox, Peter Godbear exchanging pleasantries at the end of that play, as they'll go back to battle here on 2nd and 15. Schultz looking underneath, knocked down. Casey Sales will get credit for it.
Little middle screen here. They're trying to get a receiver. You see some linemen downfield because they're throwing the ball to a receiver on the line of scrimmage. Casey Sales recognizes it, gets his big paws up and gets a knockdown.
Third down, out comes Lewis Ward. Bit of an up and down season at times. But steady last week. He lines this one up from 38 yards away. And this, and a bit of a drifting wind, will go wide. Hamilton offense, much of this second half of the season since Labor Day being led by that man, Julian Hauser, gets the sack here, leading 29-8 over the Red Blacks. Otis.
Yes, and so it may be yellow and black today, but it'll be all orange on Sunday afternoon. Pleased to be joined by Forge FC's head coach, Bobby Cerniotis, and what an anticipated matchup this will be. And for your group, a win, and you're off to your 7th consecutive CFL final. So can you just give us a sense of what the team is like right now, about 48 hours to kick off?
Yeah, obviously a lot of excitement. You know, when playoff football, comes around, there's always that sense of excitement, something our club has been able to do consistently over the years, and had an excellent season with a regular season championship, and now we got to keep on going for more.
Well, you touched on it, right? To win the Shield and to do it back-to-back, you're doing what the Tiger Cats are trying to do here, finish first in the regular season. So how much confidence does that give your group heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's recent. We just clinched that this past weekend. The guys are in a good mood. We've been playing some good football, and it's you got to keep it rolling, and that's what the playoffs is about. It's about having that confidence and getting to the next game.
Appreciate the time and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenzie.
Guys.
Thank you to Bobby as well. The 100-win man is the head coach of the Forge FC program here since inception. in the CPL, doing a tremendous job of being able to lead that club. Going forward is an inside run. Goes to Greg Bell, picks up the first down. Great conversation as well when we talk about head coaches like Bobby Smirniotis and managing their roster with Scott Milanovich this week, saying Greg Bell's probably a running back that gets better with more touches he gets earlier on, but it's hard in the CFL, right? This is one of those moments where you use the running game when you have the opportunity, and Greg Bell has gotten his chances, now crosses over 1,000 yards on the season.
Yeah, Scott always talked about that, like hard to get quarterbacks very hard to get guys the ability in a league where you have a lot of great quarterbacks and you want to throw the football. It's hard to get them in rhythm sometimes if you're handing the ball off all the time. So this is an interesting quote we got this week. You throw to score points, you run to win the game.
Bingo!
And at the end of the game, that's when you're going to need to hold on to the football and make your plays. It's a great quote by him this week. But I do remember that quote he used to talk about years ago. He's like, hey, when I had Ricky Ray, you got to give him the football. And I know the running backs want balance and everything, but you have to get your best players. And if they don't get in rhythm, it's hard in the fourth quarter for them to be in a position to be able to make all the throws if you've been running the football all game. So that's the hard part in the Canadian Football League, sometimes with only 2 downs. The running back, if you're second and long all day, the running back's not going to get a lot of touches. So.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a challenge on the play. Tim Crooker, our referee, filling in the blanks. There's a potential fumble we're hearing on the previous play. Bob Dice watching on as Bo Levi Mitchell
selling it.
Yeah, wondering
what are they challenging?
Whether or not he can make his way back to the huddle.
Greg Bell does a great job in the last couple of runs. There's a term used, speed through the hole, not to the hole. And that's what one of the things Greg Bell does. So like he sets up his blocks.
The ruling on the field is forward progress is gained. Ottawa is getting their challenge back because they got more information received.
So they were looking for the fumble potentially here, but Bob Dice finding out that forward progress was completed. And there's no need to challenge a play that was already whistled dead. So picks it back up, puts it in the back pocket as we get a look here at Greg Bell at the end of the play.
Yeah, as I said, like you don't want your running backs to be outrunning the blocking scheme, like especially in a league that runs so much of what you call inside zone and outside zones. Greg Bell is one of the best in our league of being patient, waiting to see as the line displaces, finding the creases and getting north-south and then exploding through the hole.
Also thinking about that quote from Scott Milanovich, it's not as though he was just blowing smoke. He obviously believes in what he says because 2 touchdown passes to Tim White and now leaning on Greg Bell a little bit. So throw to score points and run to win. A formula that you see the Tiger Cats try to use in the playoffs. It looks like they'll get the bye and have the East finalists did that football almost roll loose at the end of the play as well. So ball security may be the focus here in this second half as Milanovich tries to use the running game. It looks like he looked down the bench and uttered the old punt.
Yeah, a little bit long here. You've already got a pretty big lead. Go ahead and punt the football. Pin Matthew Schultz deep. Let your defense go play.
Devontae Dedman and Khalil Pimpleton take the field as both returners will stand back, ready to receive this from Nick Constantino. And the Ottawa special teams unit calling out that there is an onside player behind Constantino right now as they burn as much play clock as they possibly can. And then hang one high in the sky as Antti Litre was the onside player. Won't get a chance to touch it. And the return comes from Pimpleton to the 28-yard line. So Ottawa trying any way they can to get back into the ball game, but continue to trail Hamilton 29-8. There is the Defensive coordinator Brett Monson on the sidelines, leading a group that is allowing 28.3 points per game so far this season, 7th in the CFL. Not great, but they capitalize when they get their opportunities, don't they, Luke Wilson?
Yeah, and that will be the key for them heading into the playoffs. You know, you have all the firepower on the offensive side of the ball. This defensive unit doesn't need to be this ironclad of just defensive stops. Just make the plays when other teams make mistakes. Here's a prime example of Peters. Ball's thrown too far outside, he makes the play. And Hauser here sniffs this thing out sack. When you have Bo Levi, you have Kenny Lawler, you have Greg Bell, this defense just needs to make the plays and capitalize when their opponents make mistakes, and they've done that tonight at a very high level.
Opportunistic group, and also the way that they've actually been able to evolve that back end and include a bunch of veteran guys. Like Luke, I remember talking to them at the start of the season where they say we're all kind of figuring each other out, trying to learn. It looks like they've gelled pretty well headed down the stretch here.
Totally. And again, even though it's one of those games you got backups in, it can be a game where you develop that kind of chemistry, confidence, and really ride that momentum into the playoffs.
Matthew Schultz goes to work with pressure coming here and rips this one. Arm strength on display. Stavros Katsantonis, the leader of the circus on that back end. Always chasing after the football and nearly got to that one as well, but it is complete, and they'll move the sticks. Schultz to Pimpleton.
You know, and I talked to, if you go back to what Luke was talking about, the defense, I talked to Brent Munson before the game. We just got to play consistent football. And you look at their stats, you know, there's some things they do great. Best pass efficiency team in the Canadian Football League. Second in the Canadian Football League in takeaways. But they give up a bunch of big plays, and they've given up the most rushing yards in the Canadian Football League from week to week, 111 yards. So there's some things they do great. They've got to continue to get better at the things they need to, because you cannot not stop the run going into the playoffs, right. And you're going to be the teams you're going to face if they end up facing a BC, a Winnipeg. You know, Montreal doesn't run the ball a lot, but you're going to possibly face a team that will run the football. Next week, you're going to be able to stop the run.
Obviously down Sean Thomas Earlington, got dinged. Travis Tice out as well. They've been working in Stevie Scott and doing a good job of him and his physicality, but Hamilton was outrushed 155-6 in the first half against Calgary a couple weeks ago. So not able to get their own game going, and Dietrich Mills kind of had his way here at Hamilton Stadium. And they wanted to bounce back from that in this matchup tonight and set the tone going into the playoffs. But as you say, Lapo, every matchup is so different, right? Every play caller on the other side has got different tendencies and things you have to work through.
Yeah, and here's stuff you got to work through. People go this way, and then you hand the ball to the tailback going this way. This is a misdirection play, trying to make people go one direction. Oh, nope, the ball's going the other way. William Stenback's a little misdirection, trying to force the defenders. Jose Ramirez has got to play that contain like Julian Hauser did. Doesn't on that play.
Well, you didn't say your trademark wrong way runs.
Wrong way run, baby. Love it.
I would have bet my life.
That's called waltz in my system. That'd be a W for wrong way, and T for tailback gets it, going the opposite way.
As Devin Verzuk makes the play there, I would have bet the farm. Wrong way run was coming out on that one. Come on, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, love those just unique, different looking runs that force defenders to change their keys, and Devin Verzuk as a rookie certainly learning that it can look the same every time, but it might end up going three different directions.
And you know, talking to Verzuk early in the year, he talked about, like, I can't believe we still have this many games to play. You know, like some of these guys who play right away as rookies from U Sports, it's a long season. They don't really understand that how many games, 18 games is, 2 preseasons and then the playoffs.
Snap came up, then flags
Procedure.
as well.
Ottawa number 64. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
A tough night rounding out the regular season. The most outstanding offensive lineman, unanimous selection. Dino Boyd has a flag go against him with one more play here remaining in the third quarter.
Fourth-year player from Cincinnati. Nice job this season.
My favorite Devin Verzuk story from earlier this year, talking about kind of the experience of coming from U Sports, was him saying essentially his friend showed up to a game, came to see him afterwards, and then realized, oh man, that's Bo Levi Mitchell over there. And Devin was like, yeah, he's on my team. We're kind of the quarterbacks of the offense and the defense, and his friends were kind of awestruck by Bo and the legendary status of his career from Calgary as Schultz takes off and runs, cuts back against the grain. And what a good job by Matthew Schultz on 1st and long, getting a huge chunk of it back as that winds down the third quarter. And one more quarter to play for these two clubs in the 2025 regular season. Tiger Cats ready to shut this thing down and start thinking about the East Final. They approach this as a playoff week, their preparation, and certainly they would love to be able to go in on a high here in the fourth quarter as Matthew Schultz trying to find some positive momentum in. We heard Tyree Adams say it might be the last time that Schultz takes the field in the Canadian Football League, so interesting dynamics at play here in the final week of the regular season.
Yeah, and the stats say it. 3 turnovers. As Scott Milanovic said it, hey, when we take the football away and protect it, we're going to win a lot of games. A +2 turnover margin, what's happening. We just missed this, but Marshall Ferguson has a special tie on. You want to tell everybody your special tie is?
Hey, speaking about playoff football in Hamilton, McMaster on the road coming up against Queens, which I know your daughter.
My daughter's a freshman. So she'll be cheering against Mac tomorrow.
Yeah, be at beautiful new Richardson Stadium. And looking forward to seeing how that one turns out. Plenty of great U Sports action across the country. Had to throw the tie on, give a little love to my guys. Schultz looks to throw, stutter steps, and then somehow completes this one. And pushed out of bounds into the sideline he used to call home is Braylon Addison.
Yep. You know Julian Hauser is going to play contain. They've got a running quarterback in on 2nd and short, but Schultz does a good job of biding for time. What does that mean? He doesn't attack the line of scrimmage. He kind of waits, sees Braylon Addison on the crossing route. Braylon gets in a position where you can see him. Good executed play.
Schultz, run look. Now rolls to his right, checks it underneath. Williams Standback in the open field. Jamal Peters making the big play, but Julian Hauser, as to say, one of the great leaders of this Hamilton defense. He was a Tiger Cat, and then he went away in free agency to the Calgary Stampeders, and he went, actually, no, I think I like playing in Hamilton, and it's shown most quarterback pressures this season, as you see there above, a bunch of really talented names. And also, when Pro Football Focus came out with their top grades in a singular game this year, one of the top 10 performances of the entire year, Julian Hauser on the road against the Toronto Argonauts just about a month ago.
High motor individual, really good coming off the edge. Really disciplined player. You can see him here. He makes his play right here. And this is what I talked about early in the game, what you call the 50-50 player. And what that means is he's got to play contain. He's got to play contain out here, but he also can close the distance and the gap when the ball is handed off. Watch Standback. He's playing contain. Now I've seen the ball hand off. I'm going to sprint down and make the play. Athletic defensive end. The thing, Brent Munson comes on board. Very comfortable with Julian Hauser, knows what he can do. Some of their time in Calgary, he said that was a great thing for me when Brent Munson came back on board as I came back to Hamilton.
So Schultz, 1st and 10 handoff. William Standback stays on his feet, rolls down near the 10-yard line, as it'll be about a yard shy of the first down marker. But yeah, this Hamilton defense, even though they're up 29-8, you see some of the frustration from Reggie Stubblefield. Wants to get this run D sorted out.
Yeah, that's something they obviously have, as we just said, that whoever they're going to face is going to, next week will be some of the top running football teams in the Canadian Football League.
Miles Fox in the middle of that defensive line. Returning from injury, 24 defensive tackles in 16 games.
Or in 2 weeks, I should say.
Yeah.
It could possibly be.
He's coming over from Winnipeg in free agency. And right into the middle once again. Peter Godbear mixing it up as Philip Osai gives him a little shrug to end the play. And there is Fox, who replaces Mario Kendricks. Made a healthy scratch.
Montreal will do a good job running the football too. They'll mix it up. Montreal will mix it up. So whichever team comes out of this semifinal game.
The question becomes, if Hamilton rolls their way through the fourth quarter here, who's crossing over? Who's coming to the east side of the dance to go up against the Alouettes?
And boy, the Alouettes look like a different team with David Alexander.
Totally different. As The Owls actually giving a couple of social media shout-outs to the Red Blacks, saying, "Go get them, guys!" Saw that on social today, so gotta love that. And also a little bit of camaraderie in the quarterback club as well between Tyree Adams and Davis Alexander, as they spent a decent amount of time last week catching up on the field at the conclusion of the Week 20 game between the Alouettes and the Red Blacks. And as Adams watches on now with Matthew Schultz in the ball game on 2nd and goal from the 3. Take the stand back. Schultz trying to get away, looks to throw, and the ball pops out. And it's into the waiting hands of Braxton Hill.
I don't know. I just saw flag fly, then I saw him.
So I believe he's not down because I think Julian Hauser, I think he's rolling over Julian Hauser, so he's not touching the ground when this ball gets knocked out. So
Previous play is under review by the replay center.
So when Fox knocks this ball down, I think Hauser is on the ground, Schultz is on top of him. So I think this is going to be a fumble unless we have another angle that shows his right hand on the ground.
We will step aside, the CFL Replay Center looking things through. As Bob Dice, a curious onlooker like the rest of us, but no doubting Julian Hauser ready for the playoffs for this Hamilton front. Well, welcome back to Hamilton as Matthew Schultz.
Right there is right, his left ankle is down before the ball gets knocked out.
So they call him down with that ankle rolling underneath, and then a couple of penalties going against the Hamilton Tiger Cats lingering here, as well as our referee Tim Croker will clean that up.
The ruling is that the ball carrier was down by contact at the 6-yard line. After the play, objectionable conduct. Hamilton number 58. It's a non-restricted foul. It's first down at the 1-yard line for Ottawa.
Hamilton 58 is Gordon White, the long snapper that got called, so maybe coming off the sideline, or a strange one, no doubt, but it results in the football at the 1-yard line for Matthew Schultz and the Red Blacks offense. They thought they had just taken it away, and now the Red Blacks are in the end zone. So Schultz gets to rip it into the turf here at Hamilton Stadium. And 10:24 remaining in the ball game. Ottawa closes down the deficit.
A couple penalties kept this, gives them that opportunity for the short yardage QB sneak.
And the question naturally now becomes, on the Hamilton sideline, Bo Levi Mitchell, will he be coming out to continue? Or will this become a Taylor Powell game for the remainder of the fourth quarter? Bo certainly looking smooth and in control. We'll get that answer when we return. But Matthew Schultz, so many good years spent in the Canadian Football League, some of them right here in Hamilton, and returns to a trip to the end zone. It was Gordon White taking the flag there, Lapo, right at the bottom, and just made contact.
Here.
Yeah.
So here's what happens is the officials have to have an area where to work in. Gordon White is almost on the field. The official gets knocked down. That's going to draw a penalty. League actually put out a couple of things.
As Wooden returns this from his own 20 bobble, but now burst of speed across the 50 and tackled right at the 55. Good field position for the Hamilton offense.
Look at these guys.
Kenny Lawler and all of his best friends.
Look at Zach's looking good. Look at the khakis on Zach.
Jared Goff, obviously having his success in the National Football League of late for the Detroit Lions. But yeah, having that many touchdowns with Goff and then making the journey to the Canadian Football League, and Zach Lars, the connection was obviously special. And now it's turned into the Bo Show here with Kenny Lawler, and one of the best to do it with Mitchell in his storied career, which obviously leads to, 36 touchdown passes in a single season. Mitchell looks to the outside here and floats this one. DeAndre Smith reaching for the first down marker as well. They'll spot it just a yard shy. DeAndre disagrees with that one, but Kenny still hunting for that 15th touchdown. And now in the final quarter of the regular season to do it.
Chasing Tony Champion, the great player from 1989. Had a great career here.
Yeah, some of the names on there. I saw Speedy B, Brandon Banks on social media earlier today, giving a shout out to the Tiger Cats, and excited to see them go forward as Kenny tries to track down not just the touchdown records, the all-timers, but also receiving yardage, of which Speedy B high up in that list for a single season as well. As Tony Champion in his iconic season, 1989, slinging it around. 87 always open, seems like this year. 95 grabs.
Look at that play against the Rough Riders, the Ottawa Rough Riders.
1,656 receiving yards. Brandon Banks, second all-time franchise history with 1,550. It would be fitting that number 89 tracks down the guy who played in the iconic 89 Grey Cup, as we see the biggest catch of Tony Champion's career and playing through major injury as well.
Look at this catch in the Grey Cup. My goodness. Totally turned around, flips. That's so hard with your eyes in one direction. You got to flip your whole body and try to find it in the air. Totally extended.
That was the original back shoulder. That was the first back shoulder in the history of the CFL. Oh, it's an every down throw. No, but that's the stuff, the legacy plays that
the DBs look like linebackers a little bit in those days too.
But they linger here in Hamilton, right? Just the number of Grey Cup losses as well, and they want those iconic moments. As this one floats away from Bo Levi Mitchell looking for Shamar Bridges. But you see a play like that, and how many times, not just we, but everybody around the CFL goes and looks back at Tony Champion. Oh yeah, I remember 89 in that play and that catch. They've had so many of those moments, but in Grey Cup losses. And that's why this year, I think, for people that love the black and gold, it's been special for them, wondering whether or not that guy is going to go ahead and make a catch that will be replayed for 20, 30, 40 years.
It is pretty cool, the receiver, like S.J. Green. Everybody remembers the opening game, Montreal, Saskatchewan, 2010, I believe. I think it was, where he makes a diving one-handed catch for the touchdown. So it is pretty cool. Milt Skeagles is probably the win against the Edmonton Elks at the end of the game.
Lots of ones that stick with you forever. And CFL history is a big part of the Tiger Cats scoring attack this year. The money leg of 33, hammering it through the uprights once again. 32-15, the Ticats headed to the East Division crown. CFL rolls on Friday Night Football action. It's the Stamps taking on the Elks. Catch all the action tonight, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on TSN. Dedrick Mills is a bad man.
A couple good running backs get to watch, right?
Yeah.
Good Lord, Justin Rankin, Dedrick Mills. Good running the football. Good teams running the ball.
Looking forward to that one as they wind down the regular season, just like Ottawa and Hamilton, ready to do so midway through the fourth quarter as Matthew Schultz in the game. Tyree Adams was the starter, and now Schultz throwing down Phillip Osai.
See right here with an inside move. Osai's had a great season out of Northern Alabama. Just bench presses the fullback, Anthony Gosling, off him to go as he sees the quarterback starting to scramble, go make the sack. That's his 8th sack of the season.
Schultz looks quick underneath, complete. Braylon Addison. Phillip Osai was in behind the play looking like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, getting thrown out by Uncle Phil.
Down and tossed.
Chucked about 15 yards into the Ottawa backfield as the Red Blacks offense stays. It will go. Desperation time, trying to create some positive momentum. And this one tipped up in the air. and intercepted. Braxton Hill's got it at the 40. Daniel Adeboboye brings him down at the 30. But Schilt's second interception and the Tiger Cats' fourth of the night.
When you throw the ball quickly, and you're normally going to look immediately where you're throwing the football. So if you watch Braxton Hill, he's going to watch the eyes immediately, and he's going to run to the space that Schiltz thinks they have open. As he runs there, he just undercuts it, tips it to himself. Nice interception by reading the quarterback's eyes through the three-step pass, the quick 6-yard hitch. Great play by Hill. Great instincts, though, recognizing where the quarterback's going and reading his eyes.
Bo Levi Mitchell at the controls. They're going to move to 11-7 on the year. And the upper hand on the Montreal Alouettes by way of victories earlier on this year, including the all-important recovery after the devastating Labor Day Classic loss here at home.
You can see the little turnout right there, sitting in the zone. You're not going to go outside because Stubblefield's there, but Hill does a great job of covering the distance in that zone and getting underneath it to make the play.
Some young, talented linebackers right there between Kyler Fisher, Braxton Hill, Devin Veresuk. That group has been completely overhauled, recreated. There's Mitchell looking into the end zone and was trying to go for a trio of touchdowns to Tim White, but it falls incomplete.
A little bit under. Could have put a little bit more air on in the middle of the field, but Mark Milton's there to make a play when it's a little bit short. Getting that long hand of his. It's called the inside arm, the long arm. Gets that long arm out there to make the knockdown. And that's a big thing right here. Sometimes DBs here are going to get worried and they're going to grab, pull. Did a good job of just being patient, knocking the ball down when he gets there.
Milton laying down some good film over the past couple of weeks that you and I have been doing Red Blacks games here. He's been covering down well, plenty of knockdowns, always active. As Mark Leggio comes back out yet again. And rips this through the uprights, and what an honor for him as a double nominee. There's a couple of those across the Canadian Football League as the team award winners were announced earlier this week. Devin Veresuk, we talked about him earlier on, making arguably the play of the season for the Tiger Cats as the most outstanding rookie, but Leggio on special teams and most outstanding Canadian. Bo Levi Mitchell obviously is the MOP. Julian Hauser, we've talked about his exploits, defensive throughout the night. Brandon Revenberg is kind of becoming the Stanley Bryant of this team award nominee stuff here in Hamilton. Every single season.
What a great year for Hauser.
Schiltz trying to come back off the second interception. Completes this one. Easy Sales at the rip it down. Gino Lewis.
First catch of the game.
On to the stat sheet. Gino having a little bit of fun at the end of a tough season for the Red Blacks offense.
Why not? These guys.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm not throwing them, though.
The mosh pit alive and well here in the Hammer.
The guy in front on the phone doesn't even care.
Schiltz with pressure on, gets hit as he throws this one up for grabs. Picked off. They'll lateral it back. Reggie Stubblefield ends up with the football in his hands, but Deshaun Amos, his second interception of the football game, and Hamilton's defense, count them up. Use your full hand. You'll need every finger. 5 interceptions.
Who else? Julian Hauser gets in. As a speed rush on the outside. Goes for the ball. Ball goes up in the air. Great opportunity for Deshaun Amos to get the interception. Pressure on the quarterback makes everybody's job easier. Creates sacks, creates opportunities with the ball up in the air. Amos makes him pay.
just a minute after Bo Levi Mitchell was incomplete to Tim White. He's already back on the field and inside the 20-yard line thanks to the hard running of Greg Bell. Took a shot at the end of that one, but trying to shake it off. Crossing the 1,000-yard mark here tonight.
Big hit by C.J. Colden in his corner spot.
Yeah, you can see Bell kind of wearing that one a little bit as he heads to the sideline.
Well, true to form for Scott Melange, as said, throw to score, run to win. End of the game here. They're going to continue to run the football, let the clock go. You see Bo's running this clock all the way down to 4 seconds.
Go with a quick screen to the wide side is Tim White. Brought down around the 10-yard line. Flag flies coming in from the back of the play as well. Kind of had to laugh at that one. They go 4 receivers to the wide side, throw 1 receiver into the boundary. It's Kenny Lawler. There's about 3 bodies over there. They're like, yeah, we're not leaving Kenny alone. We don't want to live in the highlight forever of the 15th touchdown. Not interested in that one. There's a 20-point advantage the Hamilton Tiger Cats. These two teams playing home and home on July 12th and 20th earlier this year. 23-20 Hamilton and then 30-15, but this the largest lead in their trio of matchups.
Against Hamilton, that's 10-yard penalty. It remains first down, and that's a 3-minute warning.
3-minute warning is the Hamilton Tiger Cats, fueled by their defense tonight. 5 interceptions. Bo Levi Mitchell ripping it up and down as the Red Blacks in tough against the Black and Gold, who are playoff bound. Final 2:38 of the regular season for that Hamilton Tiger Cats offense that has been historic in various chunks of this season, closing down top spot in the East Division. Bo Levi Mitchell looking to punctuate a memorable season. His time here in Hamilton after coming over from the Calgary Stampeders with so much success there. Takes inside to Wooden, then goes the other direction. Tim White gets a block out in front, little patience, and inside the 10-yard line. Looks like they'll spot it right around the 9, which is where they needed to get for the first down.
Fake the speed sweep, then flip it back on a little bit of slot counter. Get a big offensive lineman blocking for you. Good run. At this point in the game, you have to have some runs that are safe, protected runs that also give you, it's not just running the ball up inside, Marshall. That's one of those good calls by Scott. Shows some misdirection, get you a 20-yard gain so you can keep running the football.
You get
finish the game.
First down, first and goal. How about Barrow getting out in front, as you say, just running full speed. Athletic big man for the Grand Valley State, just like Brandon Revenberg. As Mitchell stands in the gun on first and goal. He continues to bleed as much clock as possible. Bonnie Robinson with the big touchdown catch against the Calgary Stampeders is in the ball game. They'll run block as they hand it off to Johnny Augustine and tackled for no gain on the play.
You know, the Week 6 Ottawa-Hamilton game, -3 turnover margin. Week 7, -3 turnover margin tonight, -4 turnover margin for Ottawa. That's obviously the difference, and that's what Scott talked about this week. Hey, we got to take the football away, we got to protect it.
It's a great quote, right? When he said, "Are we undefeated when we win the turnover margin?" And you were like, "Yeah, everyone, everyone is."
95% of the time.
Feels like it. Major difference, especially down the stretch here as we get set for the 5-game CFL playoff sprint. As this snap comes up way high, Ottawa was all over the timing of the snap, sending heat. And Bo Levi Mitchell visibly frustrated with Coulter Woodmansey, the center.
That one, I don't think there would have been much of a chance at all for Bo to catch that one. Biggest thing right here, when that happened, I wanted to make sure that Bo went down and there was no contact any way, shape, or form with your starting quarterback.
But again, that happens, you know, if it's a 1-score game in the 4th quarter of an East final here at home, those are the type of plays that been talked about forever for all the wrong reasons. So Mitchell trying to get that corrected as quickly as possible.
Well, you know, and hats off to Scott Milanovic. I think last year was his first year as the head coach here in Hamilton. He made multiple coaching changes throughout the course of the season. He made a change at special teams coordinator, made a change at defensive coordinator. It took him a while to get the crew he wanted and the people in place, and then they performed well, but it just wasn't enough because of how they started. This year, to get the crew he wants, he's got his quarterback in line, and they go from worst to first in the Canadian Football League, which has only happened 8 times in the Canadian Football League. And I believe this is only the 3rd time in history for the Ticats to go from last place to first place in the division.
Well, interesting here because they had the field goal unit out, and Mark Lecchio has been never in doubt, hammering it through the uprights all night long. And it's 3rd down after that snap went over the head of Bo Levi Mitchell. The offense comes back onto the field. 3rd and goal from the 28 when you're leading by 20 with 107 left. What is the purpose of this other than to try and get Kenny Lawler a touchdown?
It could be just a run the foot. You don't want to try a field goal. You don't want any opportunity for anybody to return it. You just hand the ball off. Let him.
Yeah. Greg Bell takes a seat. And time for Wilson's game ball now as you throw it down to Luke. And man, what a night for the Hamilton defense out there, Luke.
Yeah, Marshall, you said it. The game ball goes to the entire unit at all 3 levels. They've been very dominant tonight. And obviously the 5 interceptions have been a big ordeal. But it hasn't just been that. You know, it's been the sacks. They've played physical. They've batted balls down. The interceptions were obviously the key of this game. But again, when you have a defense that's clicking on all 3 levels, plus they were physical, it's a no-brainer for the game ball tonight. I would say for a unit that's been a bit controversial at times this year, you got to feel pretty good going into the bye now, clinching the 1 seed and being ready to go for the playoffs.
Yeah, this place should be a madhouse for the East Final as well, planning the blackout. And Luke will throw it down to you. You've been making friends with fans across the Canadian Football League all year long. Who do you want to give some love to?
Yeah, I believe it's my guy Claudio over here. Listen, he's a die-hard Ticats guy. Comes with a sign every week. Half the stadium's left right now. He's still here. As you said, this is a live shot. My guy's still here celebrating the 1 seed.
That's good paint too, Luke. Man,
no
that's
doubt.
a good job.
I respect it. I respect it. Now, the Hamilton Ticats fan base as a whole don't have as much respect for, but that individual, I've got a lot of respect.
The man, the myth, the mullet. There it is. Yes, the multiple times of being here.
Brings props.
Hamilton State. Cool hair. I love the cool hair hot takes. That's a heck of a combo right there.
That's awesome.
You know, 3rd down in their own end. Ottawa plunges forward as we look at the CFL playoff picture. And ready to anoint the Hamilton Tiger Cats with the all-important Y.
And yeah, Hamilton getting the 1st round bye. They get to sell tickets. They get to make sure that they get as many guys healthy as possible. And another interception.
Braxton Hill
having a day.
Got himself another one here. As I'm not sure Hamilton wanted to have to send out their offense once again, but
victory offense coming out. But yeah, Hamilton getting 1st place. It's so the path to the Grey Cup is having 1 game, play 1 game in front of your home crowd to make it to the Grey Cup. Now they're going to face whether it be whoever crosses over, a talented unit, plus a very talented Montreal team, whoever comes out of that Eastern semifinal, whoever crosses over, it's going to be hard to go all the way out across all the cross to Montreal and get that win on Saturday. So it'll be fun to watch next week.
The BC Lions crossover. Be the 6th time that they've done it. Winnipeg crosses over. Be the 1st time that they've ever been the crossover team. So perhaps ready to make some unique history in Winnipeg and Montreal with Hamilton clinching top spot in the East. Now that game tomorrow don't show anything. Don't do anything, right? Keep it as basic as you possibly can, because you might be taking on that team coming up for the playoffs next week, depending on how things all shake out. But one final kneel for Bo Levi Mitchell. 11-7 as Bob Dice and the now 4-14 Ottawa Redblacks wind out their season. But Mitchell in his MOP candidate season will head to the East Final directly without having to play in the semi.
After a disappointing loss in Calgary a couple weeks ago, came back refreshed after the bye, took care of business, got back into the positive turnover margin category, got the win to secure first place. They did it on their own. They didn't have to wait to see anything from Montreal. So very good for Scott Mitchell, his staff, Bo Levi Mitchell. Year 2, first place in the East after being last season.
You can see the respect that Bo Levi Mitchell gets from players on both sides of the football.
Leggio?
Yeah, Ottawa winds out their season, and Leggio with a tremendous night as well. But Bo Levi Mitchell told us at the beginning of the week they were focused in like this was a playoff game because they wanted to be able to get themselves into the moment of the East Final. And they've been able to do that now, clearly and with momentum, heading into the playoffs here in 2025.